A very good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge. It is going to be a fantastic Friday. We're just 13 days away from NFL regular season. We got college football kicking off very, very soon. We've got picks in that direction. Speaking of picks, before we bring in the stars of the show, we have to see if we bounce back. We go 6-1. Listen, it has not been a very good week at all. We needed this bounce back. And again, Calvin goes 2-0 in WNBA. Larry hits another preseason bet. I am just on this ridiculous roll with round matchups for the last 6 weeks. Mike McClure hits his golf bet. Only thing we lose is one of our two SportsLine bets, A's money line. That comes in. We get 3 early cashes yesterday. A lot good right here. So nice little bounce back. But ladies and gentlemen, that 6-1 pales in comparison to what you are about to feel. Welcome to BPE Friday. What is going on? War of the World? I don't know what that is, Buckets. Brasco's got UFC, and happy birthday, Jeff Stenberg. Oh my gosh. Of all people, Amags wishing Jeff Stenberg a happy birthday. You love to see it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to have our Chip Me Up.
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Amags. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Early Edge fam. And a special good morning to my FFT Open fam. That's right, the Chip division in the FFT Open. They asked for that BPE Chip Me Up in our draft, which is still going on, but we're working hard to get it done. And I am fired up because, as Sia mentioned, we got real live college football. None of this scrimmage stuff. No. We got real live conference games. The Big 12 title is from Dublin to Dallas. It starts. We got picks. Let's go.
Let's go. I cannot wait for college football. Buckets, what was it that you were playing?
Sia, why can we never be on the same? It's Magic the Gathering, man. You're older than me. This should have been. You grew up doing this? No, you were. No, you didn't. No,
nobody played Magic the Gathering. That's not a thing that anybody played. Like,
can I
literally,
before you spend the rest of the show just roasting me, I at least want to let you know that I watched Major League. So I did my homework from last Friday. I'm very proud of myself, and I need you to say one nice thing about me before I just lose it.
That's amazing. I'm very proud of you. What was your favorite character from Major League?
The commentator, the announcer in the box who just drinks the whole just a bit outside. That guy was a riot.
Rest in peace, Bob Uecker. He is amazing. Danny Brasco, how you doing today?
I can't believe it wasn't Vaughn. We thought Vaughn was going to be Bucket's spirit animal, but I'm doing great, man. There's UFC fights on right now. We're in Shanghai. There's the Road to UFC. There was Contender Series this week. And then at 3:45 a.m. Saturday morning, there's UFC Shanghai. So it's been a really fun week. I'm excited to give you guys some more picks today.
Hey, Mags, you're tipping your hand or perhaps your hat as to what your pick might, the direction your pick might go today, correct?
Yes, sir. I do have to try to pair the hat with the play. I think that the Brewers are in a good spot. I'll explain that. And I have my trusty co-pilot here who apparently is now asleep at the wheel, but she's awesome. It's a great Friday.
Did Jeff not respond to your birthday message? Is that what's happening?
He did say, you know what? He said, thank you. You know, it's good to see you bend the knee. So,
I mean, Jeff, come on. How about some humility?
Nice about it for one day, you know?
Yeah, come on.
Jeff, I told Amags pre-show that you didn't deserve this, so I just want that to be reflected on the record.
Yeah, let it read into the record.
That is amazing. All right, well, listen, here's what we have to do. Buckets, you've got a few soccer picks to give out. In fact, I don't know, Buckets, you have 3 official picks to give out, but I know you actually came to the show with like 8 picks somehow. So I don't know, maybe we'll do something where if we get a certain number of likes, we'll just have you like keep giving out more and more picks. Normally you start off the show, like everybody hit the like button, but I'm going to start off the show because I got to get this round matchup out because most of the guys have already teed off or are about to tee off. However, there's 2 that have not teed off yet. And they don't tee off until 10:22. So we have about 14 or 15 minutes to get this in. Plenty of time. You can find this play at FD and DK. And it's not under 2 balls. It's under 18-hole matchups or matchups, depending on where you're looking. Again, it's not under 2 balls. It's under matchups, but it is a round matchup. Going right back to Russell Henley, -125 over Justin Thomas. Pretty simple explanation here. I liked Russell Henley coming into this tournament, not so much Justin Thomas. Now, Russell Henley will regress with the putter. He gained about 5.5 strokes with the putter, which is absolutely ridiculous. But Oh, by the way, Justin Thomas gained over 4 strokes putting. So both of them are in line to regress there. And Justin Thomas, for a majority of his round, up until his double bogey, was doing most of his damage with the short game, around the green and with the putter. Whereas Russell Henley was a little bit more balanced. And he certainly came into this tournament with a better sort of track record in terms of keeping it in the fairway and the ball striking. So I think Justin Thomas is going to be his typical ball striking self, where some holes he's going to do really well and some holes he's going to find trouble. I think the short game is going to regress for both, but at the end of the day, Russell Henley is the better golfer now and the better golfer for this course. It starts at 10-22. Get this bet in right now. Russell Henley minus 125 over Justin Thomas. All right, we move. We get that bet out of the way. Brasco, go ahead.
I just want to say, because you're the host of the show, Sia, so a lot of the time you're directing traffic, but you've been on an absolutely insane run with golf, and I need to be tailing more often. So it's under 18-hole matchups. 18-hole matchups for the uninitiated like me who are searching furiously for Sia's golf bets. That's where I found it on DK.
Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, so there's always going to be like 2 sets of matchups. There's going to be 2 balls, and then there's going to be the 18-hole matchups. On FanDuel, I think it's more like they just say matchups as opposed to 18. Either way, it's not hard to find. You just have to scroll over to the right. Yeah, I've been on fire. I think my official plays on the early edge, which have all been golf-related over the last 6 weeks, I think I'm 22-5-1. And that the last loss, by the way, was a plus 275 top Englishman play on Matt Fitzpatrick last week, where I was really just playing the number, and I said, I'm not putting a full unit on it. So that L was a plus 275 L. That's the only L we've incurred, I think, over the last few weeks here. So we'll see. We'll see if the streak keeps going, but it's a nice way to end sort of this FedEx Cup playoffs and the golf season for me and for this entire show. So Danny, thanks for clarifying that. All right. Well, let's move along, friends. I see Taft Gant is in the chat, by the way. He probably has some golf knowledge to drop. Chris Kish is in here. Joe Neuenfeld, Paul, Ray Garcia, Rick Louie, who was a doctor apparently, Kylie Reynolds. Smash the like button, because Buckets, you have 3 plays, but you're going to be willing to give out more if we get a certain number of likes. But let's start with the 3.
Before we do that, Sia, I just want to say, I know you're 25-5, but I only tailed the 5 losses. So you've done nothing but lose me money. Sia. I'm just kidding, guys. We've got 3 great plays this afternoon, but I'm going to start with a quick warning. You cannot let one loss on a soccer team define how you bet them for the rest of the season. I see people already going, I'm not going to bet on United anymore. Chelsea ruined me. I'm not going to. It is one match day into a 9-month season. Give teams time to figure stuff out, because I'm going to continue to bet on Chelsea. This West Ham versus Chelsea match, the lines make no sense. I think the books are overreacting. I think people are overreacting. People are saying that Chelsea might not beat West Ham. West Ham, who just lost to a newly promoted side, Sunderland, 3-0, should be a way bigger underdog against a Chelsea team whose squad is worth $100 billion here, guys. I think Chelsea win this game. I think this is their bounce back. They played Crystal Palace to a dodgy 0-0 draw, and everyone's frustrated about that. I get being frustrated, but do not leave money on the table because of one match. Joao Pedro to score or assist is even money. That is... I wish I could curse on the show, because that is an absolutely ridiculous line. It makes 0 sense. Pedro is going to be an absolute demon on the squad. He is going to be scoring everywhere and playing a West Ham side that if you took me and 10 members of the chat and played against them, we would score 2 goals here. Chelsea is the better team. They will find their form, and I think they find it this week. Second bet, I'm going to the return of the German Bundesliga. My boys, the Bavarians. Mia San Mia, baby. Bayern Munich is back in action, opening at Allianz Arena against Red Bull Leipzig. This is a really, really good Bundesliga kickoff, and these are 2 really good attacking sides here. I'm going with both teams to score and over 2.5 goals to get that juice down playable at minus 120. Bayern Munich are Bayern Munich. They've got Kane. They've got Elise. They've got Luis Diaz now from Liverpool. This is a team at home who will always score 2 or more goals, but their defense is terrible. Leipzig, even on a bad day, can score here. I love the same game parlay. Expect goals in this match. Third and final play, Sia, this one's just for you. Radomiak Radom taking on Bluk Bet Tomalica Nietzsche. Both teams to score at minus 135 in the Polish extra class.
Come on,
here.
man.
Wow. I got you, buddy. Don't worry. Looking out for my boy Sia. We love BTTS because these are 2 attack-heavy, defensive, lackluster teams here. I think both teams to score hit in the first half of this one at plus 280 if you're feeling risky, but absolutely play BTTS anytime you see Radomiak play.
Okay, so you're definitely doing the recap screen for soccer, at least. Really good stuff. Do we have a count on how many likes we have? Because Buckets, I feel like you had so many picks coming into the show today that we should at least get to like I'll tell you what, if we get to, because I haven't looked yet. If we get to 100 likes, do you mind later in the show? They don't have to be official picks, but maybe leans, whatever. Maybe giving out 1 or 2 more. And then if we get to like 175, you give out a couple more. Is that cool?
Deal. And if we get to 1,000 likes, I'll get an early edge tattoo on my chest right here. So I'll throw that out there as well.
Okay, so here's the thing. He'll actually do that.
Yeah.
Because he's like kind of joking, but he's the type of person that will actually do it if we get to 1,000 likes, because a bet's a bet. So everybody, it's on you. Retweet the show. Do whatever you have to do. Buckets will get an early edge tattoo on his chest if we get to 1,000 likes before the show is over. You have to throw that caveat in there, Buckets.
Yeah. And I'll do it live on the show. I'll do a Big Pick Enery Friday from the chair, just sitting back on the phone.
Stick and poke.
I'll do it myself. Just doing this while we're doing the show.
There were people in the chat that asked about, they have their book, whatever book that is, has Russell Henley minus 135 over Colin Morikawa. I don't really like that very much. I think if that was like minus 115, minus 120, I'd be kind of into it. But Colin Morikawa was striking it pretty well. If the putter is decent, he's going to have a pretty good round, in my opinion. I wouldn't take that bet personally. All right, Chip Patterson. We talked about it. We have college football. By the way, the FFT Open, picks on me. We're still in the middle of our long draft too. It's literally on me. I'm going to update everybody on what my team looks like later in the show. But Chip, you have not 1, not 2, but just like Buckets, 3 college football picks. You've got the floor.
Yeah, and they really put me in a locker in the Discord, Sia. They said, this is what, because I went 0-2 last week. They said, this is what happens when you let the college football guy pick golf. So, like, yikes. I mean, they're ruthless in there. Yeah? So here we go. All right. I'm back in my bag. Here we go. All right. First, Iowa State, Kansas State. We've got Farmageddon in Dublin. What could be better for one of the Big 12's best rivalries than a pint of Guinness and just like a full Irish breakfast? And what we think here is the familiarity in unfamiliar territory might lead to a little bit of a feeling each other out process. Well, you want the football? Here's the football. Iowa State has gotten less explosive offensively and better and healthier defensively. Their linebacking core last year was an absolute mash unit, and they've lost 2 1,000-yard receivers to the NFL draft. So I think Iowa State will be scoring less points and playing better defense. Meanwhile, Kansas State, we know that they're really good at the line of scrimmage. We know they're going to run the football. And their one weakness that I'm concerned about, which would be their secondary, is not going to be able to be exploited by an Iowa State offense that is going to, not have those receivers to push the ball down the field. The familiarity here too. Both of these defensive coordinators know each other. They played a lot against each other. And Kansas State's offensive coordinator, Matt Wells, used to be at Texas Tech. So it's just one of those situations where, like playing pickup basketball with a cousin or a brother or a sister, it's just, each other's moves the whole way. Now we have seen some of these games in Dublin get a little bit loose later on. So I want to be out by halftime. We are going Kansas State, Iowa State first half under 24.5. Then we go to Booth Stadium in Lawrence, where for maybe the first time in the history of the early edge, I will say with honesty in my heart, I think the home environment at a Kansas football game is going to be absolutely electric. For those who weren't aware, the Jayhawks were nomads last year. They played half their home games in Arrowhead. They played half their home games in the MLS Stadium in Kansas City. And now, after pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into bringing that old Coliseum up to date, the fans are going to be packed for this Week 0 showdown against a good Fresno State team. Fresno State has a new head coach. I think that they might need a little bit of time, especially in that building, to sort of get their feet under them. We're going to go Kansas in the first half, -7. So keep an eye on that. And also take notes on Fresno State, because Matt Entz used to be at North Dakota State. Kind of a style change for that program. We will learn more that we can take into Mountain West play. And speaking of the Mountain West, we'll be going to Big CBS, America's Watch Network, the network of stars, because Big CBS is we've got Hawaii playing host to Stanford. Now, the Warriors, over the last 15 season openers, man, that's a pretty big sample size, Chip. They are 11-3-1 against the spread. To be fair, That is not always being a favorite. That is often covering as a big underdog, but that still just shows the standard that has been set. And Timmy Chang was just a new coach back at his alma mater when Stanford absolutely mashed Hawaii with physicality at the line of scrimmage 2 years ago. Big revenge game, as the head coach of Stanford is Frank Reich, who is sort of like doing Andrew Luck a favor and telling everybody, I am only here for a year. That's not the confidence I want to see. Give me Hawaii. I'll lay the 2.5.
I love this. I love that we're getting college football. We're about to get NFL. This is so great. And by the way, Tom Casale likes Hawaii too. I think Tom took it on the money line. And I remember when we did the ACC preview, I don't remember, Chip, if you were part of that specific segment, but Stanford yeah. I mean, it's not looking good for Andrew Luck and Frank Reich, is it?
Well, that's the thing is Andrew Luck is leading the transition. They fired the head coach, Troy Taylor, in March, right? I mean, that's like, what do you do then? So Frank Reich is only there. You might remember, do you remember when post Art Briles, Jim Grobe was the head coach of Baylor for one season? Like that is kind of what we're doing here. An elder statesman comes in as a caretaker, just to be able to like get the boys lined up and pick team captains and, just be functional. And I just think it's going to lead to a lot of losses starting this Saturday on CBS.
And we've got somebody in the chat. It's Rick Funcannon saying Tom likes Kansas minus 12.5 too. Again, some of these picks we did on that CBS Sports Network special, which is really, it's on your it's on the SportsLine YouTube feed. Like you can watch it right now after this show or in the podcast. Go ahead, Amags.
So real quick, I wrote it in the chat, but Chip, is it hunting season in Kansas? Is there anything we need to worry about there with the crowd?
No. Listen, we haven't gotten into dove territory, and deer is going to be a little bit later. So I think that this is going to be, everybody is turning out for this game. They are going to turn it into like Allen Fieldhouse outside there in Booth Stadium.
Hey, Mags, we got to get to the home run chart because it was Dominic Eskridge who said, he was dipping in here, and I don't think he's been in the chat in at least a few weeks, and he was like, hey, can we get to dingers? Can we get to home run plays? He was wondering if we'd covered it yet. So I want to get your reaction, Mags. I know you still have your pick to give out that relates to the Milwaukee Brewers, but I guess I've been so hot that somebody with a similar name as me is in the MLB home run plays. It's not Sia Suzuki, but Seiya Suzuki, pretty much tomato there. Plus 300 versus plus 400. Then we got Ketel Marte plus 330 versus plus 500, and Matt Wallner plus 360 versus plus 390. Hey, Mags, any response to these three or anybody else that's on your mind?
Well, we see Rick Funkin Jr. in the chat, resident Cubs fan, already like Suzuki. So I don't dislike that one, but I think Ketel Marte here, some pretty good value. You're going to get Zach Littell on the other side, 27 home runs allowed this year in 150 innings. So I think that Littell, we've dubbed him in the Discord like a turkey tosser, as you would say, where he's throwing up those meatballs, man. So give me Ketel Marte plus 500.
Okay. And speaking of home runs, ladies and gentlemen, how about this BetMGM promo? It's Big Fly Fridays. Don't forget about Big Fly Fridays. It now includes parlays. You are now able to parlay as many home run hitters together as you'd like. And if one of the legs of the parlay hits the longest home run of the day, you will win a share of the $50,000 in bonus bets. No opt-in necessary. I love the no opt-in necessary part of that. So we gave you our home run picks. Now we give you a BetMGM promo, Big Fly Fridays. Next thing we got to do is give you some UFC picks. Buckets is going to have some extra picks because this chat has already met at least the primary threshold for likes. We're still trying to get to 1,000, folks. And I will tell you, we moved the line on that Henley play. I mean, the timing is impeccable. When I gave it out, some of you got it at minus 125, and then poof, all of a sudden it was minus 135. You absolutely love to see it. All right. Oh, well, we got to take a break and hear a message from our partners. Then we come back with Danny Brasco. We got a baseball pick, your questions to answer right after this message from our partners. We are back on the early edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Buckets, you were kind of vibing to the ad promo there.
Oh, of course, that's a bop. You see, Danny's with me.
Music is great. Music in any form is fantastic. Brasco, when you talk, it is kind of like my favorite music because your takes are so amazing. Talk to me about UFC Shanghai.
You guys are way too kind to me. But here we go into Shanghai, and get ready to get your coffee early on. I keep mentioning 3:45 a.m. start, so be prepared. But we talked about some of these bets earlier. I'm going to kind of combine a similar selection into a few of my plays this week now. So we're going to kick things off with Aljamain Sterling in the co-main event. I already put him together in a 2-leg parlay on Wednesday's show with Michel Pereira, but now I'm going to take him on the spread at -5.5. This, again, implies the combined judges' scorecards. This is a 5-round fight, so Sterling would need to win a decisive decision, 49-46 or 50-45, or stop Brian Ortega inside the distance. And I think he's going to dominate this fight. I have one question to ask Brian Ortega. Wei Shime, which means why in Mandarin are you fighting in this fight? He missed weight trying to make the 145 limit, or he wasn't able to make weight, I should say. And rumors were that an ambulance was near his hotel room and that he was hospitalized after falling, getting lightheaded during that weight cut. This fight is now being fought at a catch weight of 153 pounds to accommodate Ortega, which I think is ridiculous. I don't think he should be fighting. But if you're going to put him on the card, then I'm going to go ahead and bet against him. I told people in the SportsLine Discord last night, Aljo -265 money line is a great parlay piece that instantly went up to -455. So I think the implication is domination. His wrestling will beat Ortega's jiu-jitsu. And Aljo is already the more physical guy anyway, the better wrestler. So if you're going to give me an unhealthy Ortega who seems to be in a weird mental space, I'm taking Aljo all day. I think he dominates this fight. It's either 50-45 or, guys, honestly, I think everyone thinks Aljo by decision is a lock. I mean, now be careful about Ortega's health. There's a world where Aljo, who's not necessarily a finisher, can put him away inside the distance. So I'm going to take the spread. That covers both angles. Another play I like is a 3-legger. I'm going to take some outcomes that I feel are certain, and or very that I'm very confident in, I should say. Nothing certain in a cage fight. But instead of trying to get a little chancy with some of these sketchy fights, I'm taking 3 favorites that I think get the job done easy peasy. First one is Tayalake Nuraji. Sia is absolutely torched on this recap.
Come on.
He's a guy that's coming from the area. He's an Asian circuit fighter who's a fast starter, and they're giving him Kiefer Crosby. Look, I don't like to disrespect fighters. You make that walk, you have my ultimate respect for life. But Kiefer Crosby might be the worst welterweight on the roster. I mean, he's just a kind of a pure brawler, and skill for skill, he's outmatched. I think Nuraji probably cracks him in round 1, puts him away. He's terrible on the floor, too. So if Nuraji wants to put him on the mat, easy work there. We talked about Aljamain Sterling. I'll pair him up. He's my favorite moneyline parlay piece of the week. And finally, the main event of the evening to close us out, guys, it's Zhang Mingyang on the money line, hometown guy in China who's a horrifying finisher. This is a menacing striker who puts on the forward pressure, backs you up against the fence, and releases his granite fists, his thudding low kicks, and his just absolutely terrifying demeanor. He's going to put Johnny Walker on his back foot, and Walker's going to be under pressure right away. Mingyang also is not afraid to take a punch. You hit him hard in the face, he smiles back at you and walks forward. So, yeah, I think it's tough sledding for Walker, who's been knocked out by his last 2 opponents. I think a third is imminent. But bonus pick here, guys. You talked about the likes here. Let's get a bonus pick. I'm willing to sweat out that Walker survives 1 round, maybe clinches, maybe tries to grapple, maybe gets hit, but makes it to the final bell of round 1, and then gets put away in round 2. Round 1 knockout is -110. Kind of boring, most likely outcome. Round 2 knockout, if we want to sweat that out, +700. Hang in there for 1 round, Johnny, and then Mingyang will do work. I like that as a little sprinkle for a sweat, guys.
Wow, a +700 sprinkle bonus pick. Buckets, we got to get to some soccer bonus picks because I think we're approaching 200 likes. So maybe you have a few more to give out. But Amags, we got to go to you next because you've been wearing this Milwaukee Brewers hat for 23 minutes now, but we haven't given out the Brewers pick. What is it?
Right, Sia. I am, as you speak, I was actually looking up a question for someone that was asking about the Phillies. So really quick, David Talk in the chat. I think the number is honestly kind of right where it should be. Cade Cavalli actually threw a great game against the Phillies last time out. So I don't love it. I don't hate it. But you do have to take the home team there with the -1.5. And speaking of the home teams at -1.5, I'm going with the Brewers. Sia, this should be a very easy name for you to say. The Brewers, or the Brew Crew as they call them. And I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of info here on the hat. I was, if you look at this hat, I was watching a clip. I don't remember who it was online recently, but someone had said that the Brewers was a hat, an uninteresting hat that they didn't like, or a logo they didn't like. This is an M and a B for Milwaukee Brewers, and it makes a baseball glove with a baseball in the middle. So this is one of the coolest hats and logos that you could find, in my opinion. And I appreciate some comments in the chat giving love to the hat and the Brewers logo. And we're going to just stick with this red hot Brewers team. Got the win yesterday against the Cubs. I get that it's been kind of a rough little road trip with some postponements and whatnot happening in Chicago, but they get back home here and they face in my opinion, a struggling Giants team, but a very bad Giants lineup right now. They're missing Matt Chapman. That's a big hole in the lineup. And that was one of the only guys that I really think had Jose Quintana's number last time he faced this team. You're going to get Carson Whisenhunt. I don't know if you want to pronounce that name, Sia, but that one might be a little bit tough for you. Not like some of the other names that have been given out, but Carson Whisenhunt with an expected ERA over 7. When you actually look at some of the underlying numbers on him too, they do not get any better. The left on base rate, almost 85%. That's unsustainable. You're looking at a BABIP around 200. So, the batting average on balls in play is only 200 against this guy. I think it should probably rise at least 100 points. And we might see that here tonight. So here with the Brewers at -1.5, I wouldn't be surprised if they covered -1.5 like in the first 5, and we just get kind of a bit of a runaway win here. I mean, they've been great at home. When you look at the Giants, have not been good on the road, under 500 on the road. The Brewers, I think 42-20 at home. I might be a little bit off, but that's a very close number. I mean, they've just been amazing at home. We've seen them be amazing everywhere, but got to back the Brewers here tonight, getting back home. And the two lefties on the mound, it just does not help the Giants' case. They've been one of the worst against lefties in the last month, and the Brewers have been one of the best. So I think this is actually a pretty good price here on BetMGM at +135. And yes, happy birthday, Jeff Stenberg. But you really thought I was gonna bend? I was gonna bend the knee? Get out of here. I don't care about your birthday.
That was amazing. What a troll. Good stuff, Amags.
Yes.
Speaking of getting out of here, Chip Patterson, you have to get out of here. You have cover 3 obligations. But speaking of Jeff Stenberg, he says, any interest in Western Kentucky? Team total over 36.5 at -115. Your final thoughts?
I'm going to wait to see Sam Houston's pace. They used to be slow. They've got a new head coach in Phil Longo. That is a lot. That is a big, it's a Conference USA game. So it's like a big sort of live betting. We got to take notes on the new head coach, figure out whether they're going to be Phil Longo up tempo or figure out whether or not, because look, I think defensively Western Kentucky could run up and down, but Sam Houston might also be thinking limit their possessions, play slow along the way. So that's what I would do. And one last thing, Buckets has my plays. It is just so important that we let everyone know that Il Vero Calcio inizia domani su Paramount Plus. We got the first match day of Serie A, and he has a Serie A parlay that we've been working on together. So he's got all the pieces. He'll pass them on to you. Check out Serie A on Saturday and Sunday on Paramount Plus.
Love that. Go do your cover 3. Check Chip Patterson out next at cover 3. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Chip, thank you very much.
All right. See ya.
What a way to exit. So, Buckets, what's this Serie A parlay? What is it?
The Serie A part. Can I just say real quick, I love Friday shows so much, but it's the only shows where I give myself imposter syndrome. Like, I feel so confident about my plays and how I present stuff, and then I have to listen to Chip do flawless pick-me-ups. I have to listen to Danny just be Danny. I have to listen to Amags talk about a sport that I know absolutely nothing about flawlessly. And you wear a nice shirt every day. Like, I just feel outclassed, but that's fine. I'm going to get through the Serie A parlay together. I said, Chip, let's do this right. Give me a leg for the Serie A matches. And he gave me 3 legs because he's Chip. So why would we expect anything else other than perfection? We are going with Como versus Lazio. Como, double chance. There we go. Como or win or draw, double chance. We're going with Cagliari versus Fiorentina. Both teams to score. And Jonathan David to score or assist in the matchup between Juventus and Parma. You're getting around +450 for that for those that want to follow along for some weekend Serie A action.
Very, very good stuff. Amags, that was an amazing clapback on Jeff Stenberg. Were there any baseball questions, any other baseball questions that you needed to attend to in the chat?
Well, he keeps talking about Roman Anthony. And yes, there was a pretty big Roman Anthony home run that happened last night. It is what it is. He'd be going against a lefty today. He's probably not even going to play. So there you go. He's going to, on your birthday, you're going to sit the bench there, buddy. But I do think there was a couple others here. If I see them, I'll answer them. Maybe for Jeff Stenberg's birthday, you could take a little bonus bet right around even money right now. Brian Bayo to strike out a 5th batter. He had 8 in 7 innings against the Yankees last time. So if you really want to have something, Jeff, maybe it's that one.
Brasco, any UFC questions or any UFC comments that you need to address?
I actually wanted to address like a sentiment that Buckets brought up. He said, I'm not just going to abandon a soccer club because they had one bad performance. Mm-hmm. That's something I want to remind people of in the UFC, in NFL, across sports betting, is this reactionary sentiment, but especially in big games, especially in fights and in football, where the white noise can be really loud. And one guy gets knocked out real bad and all of a sudden he's trash. He's trash. Like you just discredit his win streak or all the other successes he had. We know in fighting, styles make fights. We know in football, it's any given Sunday, right? Matchups change every single time out there. So don't just have these blanket opinions. He's trash. They suck. They're goated. It's going to make you a simplistic bettor. So I like that sentiment, Buckets. Good awareness.
Well, it's especially important in the NFL because there's always a team that upsets another team in week 1, week 2, and we think, okay, we've seen enough, like we know what this team is. And I think the biggest edge in NFL personally, and I haven't run the data on my personal betting here, but weeks 2, 3, and 4, when everybody sort of has their opinions formalized with like 0 sample size, basically, that's when you can really take advantage of not just spreads and totals, but more particularly props as well. So keep an eye out for that. Go ahead, Brasco.
Another thing I wanted to mention is I lived in Italy for a couple of years. I actually speak some Italian. I'm trying to think, how do you say parlay? I spent a lot of time in those little Win City soccer betting kiosks, just betting on Fiorentina and stuff. So I don't think I ever learned how to say parlay, but I'll tell you this much. It's not parla.
That was pretty great. Buckets, we're way past 200 likes. Is there any other soccer play you want to give out?
I'll give out 2 more plays for everyone here. We've got a match between Derby and Bristol City. This is in the English Championship. I want to give more analogies like Danny. I want to say things like trying to submit a kitchen appliance or they've got granite fists, but I'm not that creative. So just picture that Derby County is like a little hamster. They're just sitting there and they just nibble. They're just annoying. They're frustrating. They're not good enough to beat clubs, but they're good enough to kind of piss you off a little bit. But they shouldn't be favorites against Bristol City. Bristol City beat Sheffield 4-1 in their season opener. They haven't lost yet. Derby have conceded 8 goals in 2 matches. Take Bristol City on the draw no bet at -125 or at plus money on the money line if you're feeling frisky. And then one more bet since we hit 200. Fatih Karagümrük taking on Göztepe İzmir in the Turkish Super League this afternoon. We're going with Göztepe İzmir over 1.5 team total. It doesn't matter that their striker is out with a red card because Emerson off the bench might be a better striker to stand in his stead. And Fatih Karagümrük is just going to do their best to survive. Göztepe get at least 2 here, Sia.
Thank goodness that's not going to be on the recap screen. CID says, Amags, how about Brewers team total over 4.5? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I threw a little answer there in the chat for him, and I do like the Brewers over on the team totals today. Actually, some alt lines I played like F5 -1.5 at plus 150 or better, and then the full game -2.5. I think that they could kind of just run away with this game. This is like, this feels like an 8-0, 8-2, something like that victory. Pretty easy walkover.
All right. We like the Brewers a lot today. I don't like that I'm going to have to read this recap screen. I did say I was going to tell everybody my FFT Open team real quick, and I'm going to call out the names. We're through 6 rounds, I think. Went Saquon Barkley first in the 4th round, then Jonathan Taylor. Then I think I went Ladd McConkey, or maybe Ladd McConkey before, and it's PPR. And I ended up with Marvin Harrison, Garrett Wilson, and Patrick Mahomes. That's my first 7 players. It's a pretty good start. Somebody just snagged Emeka Egbuka and who was it? The 49ers guy that I'm forgetting his name somehow, Ricky Pearsall. So I was pretty upset about that right before my pick. It's my pick now. So FFT Open is live in Chip's League, my league, and some of the other leagues. Danny, any closing thoughts? I am stalling, Jen. By the way, I think it's Bob Uecker Day. She said it was Bob Uecker weekend or something in Milwaukee, which is a funny coincidence. Brasco, closing thoughts here.
Closing thoughts are that Polish, Turkish, and Mandarin were all fluently spoken on this show. And that, Amags, before you pointed out, I had no idea that the Brewers logo had an M and a B in it. All of a sudden, that's pretty dang cool.
Jason Harad says, need a Sam Kinison cut right here. Say it, say it, say it. That is a very old reference and a great reference, Jason. Let's go. Finally, I can't stall anymore. Let's go to the recap screen. All right, I'm going to give this a shot. Give this a shot. See, I already messed up. Round 2 matchup. This one already went underway. This is why you have to catch the show live sometimes because tee times got moved up. Normally this play would have been at 11:30 or 12 o'clock. Russell Henley -125 over Justin Thomas just got underway about 13 minutes ago. College football. Chip Patterson, Iowa State, Kansas State, first half under 24.5 at -115. Kansas first half -7 at -105. Hawaii -2.5 at -105. Then we go to Buckets picks. West Ham versus Chelsea. Joao Pedro to score or assist at even money. Bayern Munich versus Leipzig, both teams to score plus over 2.5 goals at -120. Radomiak Radom versus Brookbet Termalika Nitsa. Both teams to score minus 135. Sorry about that one. Brewers minus 1.5 says Amags at plus 135. And he's got some alt stuff he was talking about at the end of the show there. And then we go to Brasco. I'm just going to go last name here. Sterling minus 5.5 at minus 110. And then a 3-leg parlay with a Naraji money line, Sterling money line, and Ming Yang money line plus 101. Here we go. Bonus pick. Ming Yang round 2 KO at plus 700. Jen M says, totally nailed Kansas in Hawaii. Yeah, I got that one. Jen's the MVP of the chat today. What's up, Aaron Bailey, Eric David? Aaron Bailey is in that FFT Open League as well. Our Astros money line minus 105. I forgot to give that one out. There was so much going on. That's our sports line pick, folks. So we have the Brewers, and then we've got the Astros money line minus 105 again. That one courtesy of Bruce Marshall. We've got those two plays plus the MLB home run chart. Seiya Suzuki plus 300 versus plus 400. Ketel Marte plus 330 versus plus 500. And Matt Wallner plus 360 versus plus 390. Jodell says, good luck, guys, and great picks. Well, we'll see about that. But it was nice to have a 6-1 recap screen today. We'll see how we do on Monday. A lot coming to you in the next couple of weeks, especially with being on the precipice of football season. Jen M says, winning weekend, let's go. Good luck, everyone. On behalf of Buckets, on behalf of, who was your favorite character? Bob Euchre, on behalf of Amags, Danny Brasco, and of course, Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, and of course, Chip Patterson. Everyone, have a great and positive Friday. Hopefully, we have a positive recap screen on Monday, but let's keep it positive regardless. This is the Early Edge. Buckets, close us out.
You know the law. Subscribe.